I see how it is. One second. I'm just keep these skills. Sheesh. Oh, fuck.
With a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it!
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it! You killed them!
Nope.
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know, I don't know!
Is he really the killer, or anything else? We have to make that clear. Alright, what's the...
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true, it's a conspiracy!
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
In looking at the blueprints, yeah, something about that handwriting.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts.
Nope.
No, it's wrong.
Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
Nah, he ain't.
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro is innocent as well.
What? Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
Dorsey passes it off to me.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
Must have been in the suit. It's Hiro.
Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else who could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hero didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hero was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What? Now that's a bold assumption. And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you tell...
Let's see. Well, it was the stinking dolly. Still one more thing. It's already used. Blue tarp.
They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
It's the
So,
attitude.
Let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right?
Yeah.
It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
Bitch.
We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
No, shut up. Well, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean, but maybe I can change your mind. Dolly. Element. Good. Absolutely. Talk about reloading. Start on this next bullet time bell. Add one more ingredient to the recipe. Bottom of the screen, our nearest temple market deal. Ammo count? Oh, sheesh. Locking on and pressing the left mouse button won't be enough to handle them. It will cost you one bullet to destroy a single remark. So you run out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the tab key. So clocking on, you'll have to press the tab key in time with the tempo marker. So just remember, the tab key now is a function along with it. You reload at the start of your time and your ammo will not increase. Oh, but if your action difficulty is incidental, you... Okay. In this case, you can ignore everything I said. Well, good luck and have fun.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch! You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool! So pathetic! Lies will get you nowhere! Do your worst! Away with you!
Hey, dog.
You miserable wretch!
Wait.
I cannot agree! You are a fool! Lies will get you nowhere! Do your worst! You miserable wretch! You miserable wretch! You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool! So pathetic!
Damn. That was
I cannot agree!
Prove it.
really dang hard. God damn.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Dang, does Celeste really hate me that much?
Anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
I think Celeste's the culprit here. She acted mad sus.
Yeah! The subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then... what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
Yeah, Doug. Like, to use the dolly in the suit, you can't, like, bend over because it's made of cardboard.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
You can't bend over.
No, it's wrong.
We got him.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
Thought you wasn't me. Not to mention, I can't bend in its waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
No chance the costume was taken off on it, cuz.
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help. Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the stupid friggin' thing. There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. Looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. Really don't have a choice. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took?
Not Celeste acting
You all got a
mad
good look at
sus
it,
here.
Did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
And you get him. That guy hit. Oh, wait the fuck. That guy hit me. What guy? Robo Justice, sir. That's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion.
Nah, yes, Hero was sleeping the whole time. They
There's
just,
no
like,
hurry to decide
picked them
who
up.
did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
Which ring? I saw a shadow, something moving around at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Nah, bro. Celeste is mad sus here. Celeste, what's wrong? No, you read you can't scream for tipping at you. I saw him in the strange costume, man. Ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down to the hallway and disappeared.
and then,
Yeah. What was that? Came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. It's bad. Come on, we have to go back.
at that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead.
Dead.
And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time. Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
Man.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the three of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
Can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing.
Yeah, bro.
Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
Contradictions. Nothing what happened to Taka. Cover the truth in this case was fun. It's gonna be his watch.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
Dog. Hammers were numbered, but they really used in that order.
So, regarding Taka's...
I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in.
I don't know, I screwed up. So no way it's going. Damn.
So, regarding... I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were... Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
What? Come on. Oh, sheesh. It's one of those things where I gotta remember something.
So, regarding... I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know Taka came last.
What makes you say...
Because of the number...
It's true that he flew while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came...
So,
I wonder if... Or perhaps it was after. We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
Come
It's true
on.
that Hifumi was killed while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
so, regarding... I wonder if he died, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed while
Okay,
Taka's
come
death.
on.
See? So it's obvious
How come the one time
So,
I mess up
or perhaps
using
it
the
was
wrong
We
bullet?
already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious...
She could like rewind. That'd be cool.
So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
There we go. Finally, but shit.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, That's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Yep. Let's just watch. I hate Hangman's Gambit. Yeah, it's wristwatch. Easy.
Now I understand. I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night,
Hey, you, how long are we gonna keep us waiting? I guess the irritated voice pierced the air as he started pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
so if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because
Celeste.
when he was killed,
100%.
he hadn't met up in the dining
Celeste.
hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
I already read that.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
Dead guy.
Totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing. Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway. In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies.
Dog, I think Hifumi waddled around to go get Senkin Taka, but he was still alive.
On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere. But we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said...
We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So then the killer was able to get and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time. Seems so.
His body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What?
Really
How?
now.
If the dead body were to move itself.
Yep, I knew it.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another... ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
Yeah, Hifumi's still alive. It's really possible. Yep. It's gonna be the thing about his glasses. Oh, I'm gonna have to memorize something.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Yeah. Discovery announcement was only made once. Next body at the same time.
Are you saying that when we first found there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is...
Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
But I didn't mean to shoot. I was trying to memorize it.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi and there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
Oh, damn it.
Shoot! Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse...
Damn it.
There's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery. Hifumi's dead body, and that is why the announcement...
Are we really so sure about... Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he...
No, it is Hifumi was dead, without...
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with Hifumi's dead body had been found.
There we go. Thank God. Fuck, this trial's kind of hard.
Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Huh?
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later,
Oh,
we
I see.
won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
It's like body discovery announcement the first time. Second time was when.
I got it! We
Holy
heard
shit.
it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies.
Ding dong, ding dong. Yeah.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet.
I knew
Meaning
it.
He wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom! That is the worst logic I have. But honestly, I do not think there's
Yeah.
anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body.
I already know what it is. It's his
Clear that he was
glasses.
This whole thing is pointless.
Glasses. Good.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the back, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned,
Oh, goddammit, no, come on. Shit.
Shoot!
Okay, I
well,
can't
here's
fuck
one
up.
the first time we found him, and then his body disappeared.
And the next time, it was in.
But when you compare his body other than the change, there was no notable difference.
Yes, there was, dumbass.
What's wrong?
Okay.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can. I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
What I'm saying is, The blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
And it must have been his, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked?
Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he
Yeah.
took off.
I got it! You're talking
There we
about
go.
the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
Found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been... I got
Fumi's pants.
That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
Oh, yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
That check is seriously scary, but still, you can let her get to me. It's gonna be the torn note. Like, piece. Rigor mortis in it. Oh, god.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
6 a.m. What happened at 6 a.m.? Oh, wait.
Puppy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Hubby.
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
No, it's wrong. No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered.
Yeah.
We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that. No further objections.
Then someone used that note to trick Taka, just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster, telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less.
Most likely. He stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Don't, come on, it's easy.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from its death grip,
Death grip.
leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Knew it, Doug.
Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
No, he's not.
No. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus.
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers
Walrus.
me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository,
The spotless
the
hammer.
culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't know. The Monokuma file makes
Yep.
it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then...
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing.
So what the hell's the spotless hammer?
What was used to kill Hifumi?
That was actually used to kill Fumi. All pictures surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. Oh my god. It's a spotless hammer.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers!
Nope.
No, it's wrong. The murder
cap.
weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all
Easy.
the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
Yeah, but what's that? The first but. Alright, so it's gonna be something about memorizing another line.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive.
Yeah,
Assuming
but
the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were 2 murders.
so there's no chance to work together on this.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that 2 people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder. In this case, however, there were 2 murders.
Yeah.
Based on the rules that have even if more than one person, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, and assuming the rule holds true. It is
No, it's wrong.
No, that is wrong. Check it out.
Since there were 2 murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that 2 people could act as each other's accomplices to commit 2 separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating 2 separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince them to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Not to make us convinced 2 murders were the same. Its main characteristic this time. Yoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning. What she said not to look at this as series connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Oh, is amazing. Although, think about it, she's almost too amazing. It's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
Killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end murdered him. In the debates up until now, the way the case unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really one person who seems to fit. Well, like, yeah. This bitch.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now.
Yes. Yes, you are.
I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I won.
You've been acting mad sus this entire time, dog.
That I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit brain fat, lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the 2 of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the 2 of you were working together.
Screaming? Screaming. Okay, sheesh. Countering suspicious individual. There we go.
The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow, something moving around the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
That's what's wrong. No, you can't scream for some reason. Some the strange gushy man ran off as soon as I screamed, and I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down to the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Yeah, I've already read this. Come on.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into two groups? Okay.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I don't imagine that he would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What have you?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must be really enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys died.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room.
I see.
Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Like I said, the Celeste comment doesn't make sense. Well, what is he alluding to? Holy shit. I'm gonna have to memorize something. No cap.
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it, what was so strange about Celeste's comment?
I fucked up. Yeah.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die. And that is.
And that's all it takes. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said
It's those
was really
guys.
enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die. We are going to die. Just like those.
That's what's so strange. Said those guys. There's one guy we found out about, so.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations.
Shut up.
Imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
Dog, it's obvious that Hifumi's holding it up himself.
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to...
No.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Shut up. Holy fuck. Other explanations. There's a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. Let me try.
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible.
Shut up.
Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Those things you can prove that there's no way Hifumi is dragging the suspect away. It's not really possible. Yeah, it's possible. Alright.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
No, Celeste's cap. Remember, right? He said she couldn't bend at the waist. Yeah.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just dragged me across Hifumi and had you tried to make me look like a bat.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight.
Nope, you're capping.
It's wrong. No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
No, they can't bend at the waist. Seems like pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
She's pissed.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying? When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro. It's actually Taro.
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complex.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name.
Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come
Pissed.
on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Cap. Oh, is it a bullet time battle? Thank God. Oh.
Was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real...
how many times have I? Name? Celestia Bludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
She's pissed,
I'm
man.
not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
No, there's way.
that's the only truth there
God damn
is.
it.
Moron!
Remember, there's something here that shows its owner's real name.
The phony was he wanted us to know the killer. If there's one person,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
how many times I? Celestia Bludenberg, god damn!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. And since you have no way to
There's a way to contradict you, bitch.
No, that's wrong. That's it. The handbook.
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start it up, it'll display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this isn't your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened, please? Just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because...
Pickles.
Until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes.
Yep.
That'll bring everything to an end.
Let's go. Picture of a big boobed supermodel. Oh, it's from me shaking the hand. Huh? Sheesh, bro. I do not know. Oh, it'll be 1 p.m. I mean 1 a.m. Sheesh. Alright. And Gray Man takes the photo. That's where Justice Hammer 3 was. What the hell? I really like that panel right there. That's pretty cool. Maybe this one? Wait, no, that's later. That's the Spotless Hammer, not a Justice Hammer. That's where we found Justice Hammer 2, is in the library. Got up. You wheeled the body over.
The killer is you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Fumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims, to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1, and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2, and an injured Hifumi, to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the... While we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office, and once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he ran. Taka's body in a tarp and use the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared.
Easy.
But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is... Celeste. Sorry, you lose.
Bitch.
Lost?
I don't like you.
Lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no, Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can see why they'd give me a B grade for some of that, but you know what? AA. We got it. 93 amount of coins. We rich.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dread?
Yeah, we heard it before, Bob.
It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The Blacken this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was Celestia Ludenberg, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Fumi's ineptitude was beyond my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Fumi with this plan. How do you get him to agree? Can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder.
I'm sure he relied on your specialty lying.
My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to
So
agree.
then,
Then you know. No, you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. I did get Hifumi to act as my accomplice. I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but it's the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Does she mean talking about alter ego?
Say what?
What are you talking about?
just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here.
I'm totally out of the loop. As usual. How sad.
In other words,
You're the one who stole it.
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
Used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meetup about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. Oh, what are you doing here?
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you alone. It was about who was stolen. I know who did it. What?
are you okay with
It
this?
was Taka. He stole it. What?
So then,
Knife proof. Would you like to see it? Turn down. It found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you know what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I deleted the pictures as soon as I showed it to Hifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You're correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
as for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh,
Hey, Dad.
As for me,
He came to my room last night unannounced, and then it was hard for me to even say. He abused me.
What?
He took pictures. He said if I do not... Yo, such you a bitch. You really fucking making this up? Shut up. So I had no choice.
Damnation!
It's a crime, an absolute crime. I mean, I know you're getting a little crazy, but I don't imagine he would go that far. It's amazing how completely it brought him. I can't express how enjoyable that was. Or to say something I never before in my life. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna fucking kill him. God damn.
most unfortunate.
Please, you go now. You'll be playing right into his hands.
Actually,
Taka's planning to use her to escape. He's made you his target. Escape, you don't mean. Taka's going to try and kill you.
indeed.
And also, he can keep her to himself. That bastard. Bastard.
Honestly,
Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts? It's really not. How could I? I have to save her. Actually, then would you like to join with me? Just so happens I've come up with a plan. Find a way to reclaim what he has stolen and to escape this dreadful school. That hit is complete. What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Fumi agreed without a second thought. In fact, that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love. Even a love as twisted as that can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Oh, that strange costume of Fumi's creation. Yes, it was a real pain in the butt, too. I had to make something to hide their face and general body size. No idea you could make something like that. It's my fault for picking him in the first place. You decided to make me the suspect. Because you're stupid. That's it. I'm glad I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry. But are you explaining your plan to Ufumi? How did you explain the part about him playing dead? What he's asking is, what was Ufumi supposed to do after that, assuming you actually let him live?
are you okay with this?
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, once someone showed up, told him to say he'd been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. You really believe that? Well, of course. That wasn't all there was. As I explained to Ufumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Ufumi would have had an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. I told them, and he believed it. Seemed very straightforward, stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Ufumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death. So he planned to kill him all along. But of course, there would have been no point to my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself. Couldn't you when life means so little to you? That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win. That you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder about
No,
that.
he derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt, and I expect we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then, what made you take things this far? Really, just for money? Talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us. That is a lot of money, it's true. That's not all there is to it. The moment our new life here began, my only thought has been escape. That's all along. You've been saying how we act to accept living here. Obviously, that was a lie. Yeah. Couldn't take it. I hit her from day one. More than anyone else in here. To get out every day was fresh torture. I don't know why. Huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. Accepting life here would have meant nothing less than giving up my dream forever.
Honestly,
There was no way I could ever do that. The underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical
as
killing.
for me,
And it was all for that dream. It was this dream of
isn't
yours.
it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. Castle? To gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers / bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I could have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence.
It's fine.
Living the rest of my life here was my only dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge,
There's
but
nothing to be done.
unfortunate, my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream till the very end, so why would I?
Just the words.
Sound passionate, but were you really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own needs. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's why we should be singing. Plus, I'm gonna be so calm. Don't you realize you're about to die? Why are you scared?
My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. That's why you're not scared? That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. You know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice then,
Isn't it
I
wonderful?
think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
Hey,
Just get executed again. Celeste smiled, and then, when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings. The statement itself must have been her final line. A weak fake smile was what betrayed her.
You all done? Let's get rolling. The blackened to serve the peace and must pay the price.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
For her, the ultimate gambler.
Give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What? Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
Yeah, Shorty dead as fuck, bro. And she really just getting burned and that's it. There's no like wacky. No. Oh yeah. The beat's about to drop. Fucking truck. God damn. Alright. That was pretty cool. Audio's kind of desynced. That's just because my laptop's bass. Damn. It's over. Third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Let's kill my friends, so I can't pity her, but I also can't deny at one point I considered her a friend too. Just for him to come along and...
Isn't it just awful? Someone who couldn't get free of their regrets from the outside world, so more people had to die. You guys are still young. You need to place more value on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Geez, and here I thought you guys were going to pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
You're all the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. It's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is, but the reality just can't be avoided.
Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep going through this? What do you want from us?
God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Yoko, did I see you get some kind of key-type object from Celeste? So, what's the deal with that?
What?
Oh, what's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
you...
What did you do? What did you do to me?
Who?
What?
Hey,
Answer me, what did you do to my body? Oh man, oh jeez, what do you mean, what did I do? I have no idea! I don't know anything about it. What was that just now? Mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that mean? Okay, things are getting kinda awkward. I think it's about time I got out of here. Meanwhile, you guys can go on enjoying your school life. Get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it, of course.
See ya later!
Given disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Though it wasn't all despair, there was one small hope. Hey Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what's the key that Celeste gave you?
So,
Most likely. It's key to one of the dressing room lockers.
What that means?
Celeste probably hid it there.
Hey,
Suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we better go check.
indeed.
Good idea. Ayo. Celeste fully deserved that fucking, like, slander my boy talk like that. Like, come on, man. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. Like, come on, she's just spreading rumors like that? That's fucked. Approached the dressing room. Kyoko looked back at us and said,
Hey,
going to go alone from here. Everyone else head to the dining hall. I'll check in with you later.
What exactly are you doing alone?
so...
Do you even have to ask? She spoke. She glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. What? You. There's no risk of a spy, you know.
And I'll go too.
What?
You?
Please, let me go.
Then here are you. You just can draw more attention to us. Do whatever you want.
Thank you, Byaku.
well then.
Well, then it's up to you now.
I'm gonna head to the dining hall, okay?
How's Makoto gonna go together? Huh, does that mean what I think it means? Good luck, Makoto. Girls like her are total pushovers when you show a little backbone.
I tried to forget what Hina said. Everyone rushed to the dining hall. Leave me and Kyoko
Shall
there
we
alone.
go?
Shall we? Yeah. Da-da-da-dang.
So
We need to get into that locker. Kyoko took the key, Celeste. Giving her an unlock the locker. As soon as the locker shut, because,
Good morning. It's been a while, hasn't it?
safe, thank goodness. Never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart.
I did just what Celeste asked. Didn't say a word. Stayed quiet the entire time.
Oh, and
Think I might be able to open the last set of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. Did my best, so please just wait a while longer.
so now we can officially say the case is closed. As far as this incident is concerned, I'm sure, but can we take a second, since we have this opportunity? I want you to be honest with me. Go, please tell me, what are you trying to do on your own here at the school?
you.
Is that why you wanted to come here with me?
However,
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know. That just makes me even more worried.
what?
Worried? What happened during the investigation this time? You disappeared. We didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation. When you do that,
Indeed.
it's only natural that they think I'm the mastermind spy, right? You too. No. I believe in you.
What?
You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? That's what I want you to tell me. I want you to believe in me, too. Because we're friends. I understand.
It's true.
Maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more. Then,
That's fine.
fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you where I've been disappearing, where I've been going. You see, what I heard from Kyoko then was, frankly, it kind of blew my mind. After I told Chloe who I believe in her, she told me a story that was almost unbelievable. So I had to confirm what she told me with my own two eyes. So I waited for the nighttime to come. When it did, went into action. What's up, bud?
Correct.
The boys' bathroom on the second floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor on. Then the storage closet there. Way in the back. Said it was way in the back of the boys' bathroom storage closet, but Kyoko would really be right about this? Normal storage closet, as far as I can tell. Kyoko told me, but it could really be hidden here. Well, we can find that out next time, because I'm getting... Wow, episode's running really damn long, so... Yeah.